What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. My name is Rob St. Clair, and a very special guest joining me from Istanbul to answer a Q&A that we did live on Instagram over the last couple of days. She had a decent year in the year 2021. She won VNL, Olympic gold, Club World Championship, I think Turkish Super Cup, just to name a few. Miss Chiaka Ogbogu, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you. Thank you so much for the dope introduction. Thanks for having me.
Well deserved. So yeah, the Instagram has been blowing up with questions for you over the last couple days. Everybody watching, make sure you're following at CE Volleyball on Instagram so you don't miss the next time we do one of these. But we've got a list of questions from the people that they want to get to know you a little bit better. Jonathan Silva asks, what has been your favorite dish living abroad? So, and I guess in all of the places in Europe, all the places in Europe that you've played, what's your favorite food that you've eaten?
Oh, it's hard. I'm a big foodie, and that's another way that I feel like I connect best to a different culture is by food. I will say Turkish food is amazing. I have enjoyed it probably too much. Um, and I feel like a lot of Turkish locals laugh at me when I say this because apparently it's such a simple dish or like soup, I should say, but they have a lentil soup. I guess it's very simple to make, but it is amazing. And any restaurant, Turkish restaurant you go to, you can order this. And each one tastes a little different, but it's so good to me. And I think that's my favorite.
Awesome. That's a great answer. I mean, sometimes the simpler, the better, because then you can have more of it and more different variation. That's cool.
Exactly.
Okay, we got two questions that I'll kind of combine into one. One says, do you enjoy living in Istanbul? And the other says, what do you like most about Istanbul? So tell me about your experience living in Turkey now for the second season.
Still obviously in a pandemic, but from what I've seen of Istanbul, understand that it is not a city. It feels like its own country, honestly, and it's not a city that you can get like the full spectrum of everything in 1 year. So I'm constantly finding new things, and I think that's my favorite part about living in Istanbul is that there's always something to do, always something to see, and there's like new challenges and new scenic things that pop up every day. But I thoroughly enjoy my time here, and I'm excited to continue exploring this wonderful city.
Nong asks how it's going for you with the Turkish language.
The Turkish language is very difficult. It's really just a lot of like failing and not being afraid to get laughed at by Turkish people. It's like my dream to learn another language. So I'm trying. It is a work in progress. I beg my teammates to speak to me in Turkish, but I feel like I can hold my own at places like a grocery store or like a gas station. But anything outside of how this can I get this? I'm not very good.
I'm sure the fans appreciate the effort. What is a day off in Turkey like? XYZ asks, how is a day off in Turkey? Which is like you're kind of talking about exploring the city, but any more detail about that?
Oh yeah. Day off in Turkey. I am obsessed, like I said, with Turkish food. So it usually involves eating somewhere. With there are a few Americans who play on other Turkish teams who are living in Istanbul, which I'm really grateful for. Another reason why I love living in Istanbul. So our off days align, which they tend to not, but on the rare occasion that they do, we try to all meet up as much as we can and either have or we go out to eat. There's like this at this one place that we love, and that's usually like our go-to on an off day. And then other than that, we're just exploring our side. I live on the Anatolian side, the Asian side, so we're usually exploring that side, getting coffee by the water. There's like a vintage shop area that's really cool to just explore. Everything there is like really eclectic, so I'm exploring this side of Istanbul.
I am like asked an interesting question. What's the meaning of your name, Chiaka? That's a good question.
Ooh, yeah. It's Nigerian descent. In the Igbo culture, it means God decides.
Very nice. Elul asks, can you tell us one of the funniest moments you've had with your teammates? I guess club or national team, whatever you want.
Oh my gosh. Funniest moments that I've had with my teammates. Ooh, that's a tough one. We've had a lot of funny moments. My goodness. Um, Trying to think. I think with national team, it's always just like a really just funny. And for VNL, we were in a bubble in Italy for 5 weeks, so you can imagine that's just like a lot of pent up energy. We essentially took over like our hotel one night and like ordered a bunch of pizza and we're just hanging out. And we ended up making a TikTok dance for it in order for everyone to learn for those who are involved. And we hotel and like we had a bunch of security hotel staff and they ended up giving us a round of applause and we were delirious at that point. I think it was like week 4 of BNL in the same hotel being around each other, but it was a funny moment but also a lot of fun.
Awesome. That's a good one. I actually think I remember seeing that. And I'm sure, yeah, being in a bubble for that long.
It's somewhere on the internet embarrassing me. Somewhere.
Oh, I love it. Here's an interesting question from Maude. What's your favorite lyric line from a song? That's kind of hard. There are a lot of song lyrics out there. I've got a couple that I like. I think more that come to mind for me are lyrics that I think are terrible. But what's your favorite lyric line from a song?
Really? Oh my gosh, that's actually funny you think about that. I was like, I can only think of like really bad ones.
Yeah.
Geez, that's so hard. And I'm a big music person. I'm constantly listening to music. I'm the team DJ for Vakif,
Awesome.
for my team when we travel. But shoot, favorite lyric. That's a tough one. I would have to think about that one. I'm not sure. Wow.
Okay, we can hold you to it on.
Maybe I'll get back to
Instagram
you and I'll write in the comments.
Yeah, there we go. That's a good one.
Yes, I'll circle back and I'll write in the comments. Hey guys, I thought of it.
Yeah, here's my favorite song lyric. That's a great question to get Chiaka thinking that hard. Well done to whoever submitted that. There are 2 questions that are similar. One is what keeps you motivated, and the other is what's your goal in life. That's a big question. So how about we go with what keeps you motivated?
I think my family. I am essentially like the first professional athlete in my family to be doing what I'm doing. So I think it means a lot to me that a lot of my family members all over the world, but especially in Nigeria, what I do. And I think for me, it's nice being like a role model for like my younger cousins that look up to me and knowing that sport is an avenue for us to follow in that direction. So I think my family is number one. And then also personally, just it's motivated that I haven't reached my ceiling yet. So it's exciting to see each year how much better I get with like training and things like that, and just like volleyball IQ. So for me, it's like knowing that I haven't reached that yet. So just wanting to keep going so that I can reach that pinnacle is super motivating.
That's such a good answer and leads like right into, as we get into the volleyball questions. One of the questions that somebody asked you is, what do you think the best year of your career is so far? And I was hoping that the answer might be, I haven't had it yet. And it sounds like that's kind of what you would say right now, which is awesome.
I mean, I honestly would say that I've had it, which is funny enough. The year that I've had, you would think that everyone would expect me to say 2021, but I mean, it's always a phenomenal year for volleyball in general, but obviously for myself and my USA volleyball teammates and Michelle Karch, who has been at every tournament with me this year. And I haven't won Champions League. I haven't I haven't won a league championship yet. So think of that. I don't know. I think there's still more games to be played and more things to hopefully win.
Good. We're rooting for you. You're going to have a pretty good look at both winning the league and Champions League this year. So I'm very excited to follow along with that. A question from Denny's. What is it like to work with Coach Giovanni Guidetti? He looks so focused and scary on TV. Not my words. That's what the question said. So
I know, don't shoot the messenger.
What's it like to work with Coach Guidetti? He seems like such a character.
Yeah, and he is. And it's honestly, it's been like a huge honor because all of volleyball know that he is like a very world-renowned coach and a phenomenal teacher of the game. And I think after working with him, a student of the game, I think what I appreciate is he loves to learn about volleyball as much as he loves to teach it. I have obviously not been working with him that long, but I think in this short amount of time, I've already seen like such a significant improvement, and not only how I approach the game from like a physical standpoint, but also from a mental standpoint. And I think he does a great job making sure that we are mentally prepared as much as we are physically prepared. And I think he also has a good grasp on individual talents and knowing how to pull what the team needs from me. But I really enjoy working. It's also fun to be a part of a team that works for him, because I think he buys into the whole like team chemistry cohesion thing, and he really emphasizes the importance of that, which is I think always talked about on these, because there's always a lot of changes year to year. But appreciate the fact that he hones in on the fact that we need really good team chemistry to achieve our goals.
I'm happy you brought that up because we've talked about that a lot on the show and just in various contexts about club and the similarities between club and national team and the differences. And obviously for playing for a system like the USA national team, the culture and the chemistry is literally like number one on Karch's list. At least like that's how it appears to me watching from a distance. So
yeah,
that doesn't happen as much in club because there is turnover year over year. But the last couple of years in like Champions League, both men's and women's, we've seen the success come from teams that like clearly do have phenomenal team chemistry and do like keep some of their pieces year over year. So
exactly.
I love that he thinks about that and focuses on that. I think that's huge for club that we don't talk about enough.
For sure. And I think obviously because there's a lot of just like turnover year to year. So sometimes it's hard to kind of hone that in. But I think what's cool about the core of the culture that he's established there is like no matter who comes in and who leaves, like that unit is still going to be strong at its core, because that's just like one of the Vakifbank beliefs is team cohesion.
Perfect. So we've got two questions here that are kind of similar. One comes from Jaron, says, what can we do to be the best middle blocker in the world like you? Which is a very honorable question. And then the other is
wow.
the other is less position specific. It says, can you give us some tricks to improve the way we play volleyball? From Tara asked that.
Something that I tell a lot of younger players who ask me questions like this, and also their parents, is lucky for us living in a generation where the internet is free. And even someone like myself, like I in my free time will find myself on YouTube watching highlight videos or other games of other players, just to obviously like watch the game for entertainment, but also to learn something from it. And we're lucky that we have like YouTube at our disposal, which is a free service where you can literally search how to do a four-step approach, or how to press over the net better, or Michelle Barch's last game, Bella Hawk's last game, or something like that, just to kind of start to learn a little bit about how like your favorite players approach the game. And then I think second part, technically, something that has really stuck with me since joining the national team, and it's something that also exposed me when I was on the national team as a middle blocker, is I think that does not get talked about enough with volleyball players in general, but especially middles. People are like, oh, middles are just super athletic and physical, and that's just what they do. But I think the more elite you get, or the more elite the game gets, the harder it is to just use your physicality. You kind of have to run a little bit more of that. And I've learned that eye work is a way that is a tool that will help you and also expose you at the highest levels. And by that, I mean looking at the other side of the net and kind of almost predicting what will happen based on the clues that are given. And for USA, we talk a lot about eye work with the setter. Like setter usually has tells that gives who she's about to set, and also with studying the game a little bit more and studying the setter. But that eye work, man, it saves you a lot. And then if you don't use it, it burns you a lot too.
What a great answer. Yeah, I love that answer. I will die on the hill that blocking as a middle blocker against a perfect pass is the hardest thing in all of volleyball. I don't even think it's even close. That it kind of leads into the next question by Huda. That's, when did you start playing volleyball?
I started playing volleyball in 2009, and I believe I was 14 when I started. So I've been playing now for 12 years.
That's actually, for like a girl in the United States, that actually is a little bit later than I would have expected.
Late. It is. Yeah. And I didn't realize that at the time. I was really involved in basketball and track and loved the two, and was introduced to volleyball late, introduced to the club volleyball youth scene late, but later realized that I started, oh, even then I realized I started late. A lot of people were like, oh, you're just now starting club. And I was like, I just heard about this last month. What do you mean just now? But in America, you have girls starting club volleyball as young as like 8 or 9 years old, which is wild to me. But
Yeah,
started relatively late.
Started getting recruited for college really early too. So that's
exactly. Yeah.
Another conversation entirely. So last one in this section comes from Melek. It's, would you like to be a captain? And I guess I can spin that as like, what's your experience with like what the captain role means on a team? Because I think it kind of depends team to team, probably national team to club. So what's your experience with the captain role of whatever the teams you are that you've been on?
Ooh, good question. I would say I've been a captain on my collegiate teams before. I played volleyball at the University of Texas, and I was a captain for 2 years, and like on our leadership panel board thing for a year before that. And I think after that, I learned that you don't necessarily need the captain role to be a leader. That's something that I had to learn through like maturing, but anybody can serve the role of a leader. It doesn't have to be the person who has the bar under their number on their jersey. And I kind of like that. Being a captain is a lot of responsibility. You also have to be kind of the bridge between staff, I think professionally management and the team. And not to say that that's not something I would be interested in, but I think in my early years of my career, I just kind of leading the way I know how to lead, and that's by actions and using my voice and supporting, and comfortable in that position now. But yeah, I definitely admire all the captains out there in the professional world. I only get a glimpse of it, and I know it's not easy, and I just have a lot of respect for all of our, especially my captain now, Melise and Vakif. I have a lot of respect for her.
That's, yeah, very, very good answer. So we will wrap up this Q&A session with a couple rapid fire ones. So these are all, the quickest answer, the first thing that comes into your mind. And the first one is easy. That's from Nazli asks, who is your roommate in Istanbul?
Michelle Barch is my roommate in hotel rooms.
Nice. What do you prefer? Like, what's more satisfying, a stuff block or like a straight down spike kill?
Ooh, stuff block.
Stuff blocks are really satisfying. What is
you don't get as many.
That's right. That's a great point. Marija asks, what's your favorite movie and book? That's actually kind of a deep question, but what first thing that comes to your mind?
Ooh, I think favorite movie, Remember the Titans.
Great one.
Ooh, favorite book. That's hard. I love to read. That's so hard. Oh my gosh. Right now I'm just gonna say what I'm reading right now.
Go for
Daring to Lead by Brown. I'm gonna go with that.
Cool. Great answer. Isa asks, who's the funniest person on the team for Vakif?
Oh, we have a lot of funny people.
It's okay. You won't be offending anyone except for everyone that you don't name.
Oh, I know. I think Daria on our team is very funny to me. She keeps me laughing. And Gabby is also someone, I think we have similar humor values. So I think Gabby's also a really funny person.
Good one. If you were not a middle blocker, what position would you want to be?
Oh my, a setter. I think I have the mind of a setter, but definitely not the hands. Not hands.
I love that. I think every middle, and I was a middle growing up, I think every middle wants to be a setter.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Speaking of middles, other than yourself, who are your three favorite middle blockers in the world to watch?
Gosh. That's a hard question. And it's crazy because I now have experience of playing with one, but I think number one, I grew up just idolizing her. So, and I've told her this, but it was a surreal moment. Understand the chance to play with her. It still felt weird to me. I feel like AP was still just super giddy and starstruck. But outside of that, I think the two Brazilian middle blockers, Thaisa and Fabiana, I think were two of my favorite growing up.
That's a great answer. Let's see. Jeremy asks, who's the hardest player to block other than Boskovic and Egonu? It's funny that he specified those two players because they would be high on most people's lists. But maybe even including those two, who's the hardest player for you to block?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Hardest player for me to block. I think I'm thinking, honestly, on my team, Michelle Barch is a hard person to block. She's just so crafty, dirty, and just plays these mind tricks with the ball that we're all convinced she's a wizard. So she's definitely a hard person to read when blocking because she thinks. So I'm going to say Michelle.
Yeah, great answer. Those are very frustrating players to play against. So I'm sure you're happy that for both club and national team, you get to play with Michelle and not try to block her all the time.
She's on my team. I'll take it. Yep.
Perfect. Okay. The last thing we wanted to get asked. Let's see who asked this. What are your goals for this season and what's next for you personally? So the rest of this club season, back to the national team in the summer. What's next for you, Chiaka?
Yeah, I think my goals for this season are the same as most of my teammates. We have set to win all of the cups that there are to win this year. So far, we have won 2 of the 5. We're just awaiting the Turkish Cup, obviously Turkish League, and then hopefully Champions League Cup. Personal goals just to help Vakifbank be able to do that. While also continuing to just learn as much as I can from this team and as much as I can from playing some of the best players in the world. And then post that, back home for a little bit of rest, and then I'll be out to California where we train with the national team, and I will be with them all summer. I believe VNL and World Championships are next year. So we'll be gearing up for that. It'll be really important for us. And we have a lot of big goals with that too.
Great. Well, it's been a great start. You had an unbelievable 2021. Like we said, your club season has gotten off to a pretty nearly perfect start. You've won the first 2 cups that there were to win, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Vakifbank does in the remaining 3. So thank you so much, Chiaka, for coming on and answering the people's questions. I hope everyone now knows you a little bit better, and I'm looking forward to whoever we get on next for these Q&As. I really like these. So thanks so much for coming. It's been awesome to get to know you a little better.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Rob. Thanks for having me. And thank you for everyone who asked amazing and very deep.
Yeah, the people are always more creative than I can ever be in an interview. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one of these.